What's going on, everyone? So today for this video, what our plans are is we're going to pull compression numbers from this Carbon Z, and we will be trying to finish up this Stillen kit Black Z that we have. So we've got a couple things, like we got some exhaust work to do on that, just a couple little odds and ends, fill up power steering fluid, and most importantly to take it for some test drives. I haven't really test drove it because of the exhaust yet. I've seen a visible leak. I mean, I know it needed gaskets, plus the test pipes that are on it are not going to be the ones that go on it. So we will start here. We're going to pop this up, got our little kit, all our tools, see what we can do about compression testing this to see if this engine is completely toast or if it's something that we can salvage. Now we've got both spark plugs from each bank removed. Now what we're going to do is hook our compression tester up, just finger tighten it down in the hole. What you do when you compression test, make sure your throttle is all the way open and your battery's charged while you're cranking to give you your most accurate results. Your compression test will be different, warm versus cold as well. Cylinder 2 is all good. Starting to get a little low. This is not what I like to see. Here's our last one for this side. So far, I can't remember if I picked the camera up for this cylinder, but it read about exactly the same. Here's our final cylinder. This may mean our rings are trashed, but so we will look online and see if we can do a couple other things to verify whether or not that is our issue. From what I've heard, even on low compression, you should be able to run it with boost. That just means you run more boost, but I don't know for sure. We're going to do a little bit of research and see kind of what we can do here, or if we need to just get back to pulling all this engine back out and go from there. Which, if I did do that, it's going to save me some money because I'm going to use the timing kit from this engine. So then I won't have to purchase another one for $500 or so. But then we'll just have another paperweight of a motor sitting in the shop. Well, now that I'm in my current predicament of what motor do I throw in what and whatever to get everything going this year, because I don't know, it's just I feel like I'm having this talk with myself every day because things just keep happening. But that's why we come out here to go on a hike, to clear our mind, to make our mind. I should say make up our mind. Granted, it's all frozen. Some of it's worn through, but I don't know. I think obviously the engine's coming out of the Carbon Z. We found out the compression is less than favorable. So I think since we decided we're not gonna drift our four-seater yet until we kind of get an idea of how to drift, because I don't want to smash that car when it's nice. I'd rather wait till I know how to handle it and then have a nice car that I could, you know, skid. And I don't know, because I know I'm gonna wreck. I don't want to necessarily wreck that thing right off the rip. We'll just go with this Carbon Z because it's new. It's got some like radiator support damage, just some other weird things that it's, I don't know. I mean, for the amount of money I'm in the car already, why not? Like, I've got nothing to lose. So we're gonna go through with that. So the engines will come out of our four-seater to go into the Carbon Z. Then we can take the engine out of the Carbon Z, take things that we need off of it, since it's got a brand new timing kit. Use that new timing kit for the motor that I pulled out of it to begin with, to put that in to my slick top for an NA car, so that way I can have a car that I can drive out west or places that they don't have E85. So then our 600 horsepower build will be coming to the four-seater for a street car at the time being. So we will still have all, if anything happens when we switch from the 2 to 4 seater, we'll already have all the dual caliper set up and all that we can just switch over and commit to that. So I think that's been the decision that I've came to out here. So I don't know, let's hope we stick to it. So we're back at the house. Well, let's get to work on the Stillen Z. We've got her pulled up here kind of away from the mud, which you can see just from driving it up here. That's how wet the backyard is. Fire tracks everywhere. But pretty much what we're going to be doing here, we're going to leave the kit on this, but we're going to take this Stillen exhaust system and switch it with a factory one. We officially have got both of our test pipes off. What I'm going to do now is remove the cat back. Hope that all goes well there. I did just realize I didn't buy gaskets for the rear half, so I really hope I got some. But we've got stock mufflers in here somewhere. Here's our Stillen exhaust. We have finally pulled out and managed to get out. The mufflers were almost too big to be able to pull it out from that rear bumper add-on. So we've got these 2 mufflers that I've pulled off a previous Z that I've had. The rear of the exhaust, like the X pipe up here, rusted off, fell apart. So I just took these off because I was going to put a new system on it, but didn't get around to it. I know it's a little crooked, but that's kind of what it's going to look like. I've still yet to do the other side, obviously, but when I get the X pipe in, it'll level it out. With the ground being as wet as it is and the sun going down, we're packing up for the day. Instead of getting these exhaust leaks welded, I just put some red RTV, even though I'm always I just said to throw it out. I didn't. Look what happened, I ended up needing it. We've got the Black Z a little bit finished today. We've got all of our exhaust on. Most of it's almost down off the ground. We're currently working on removing the wheels so we can switch the adjustable control arms to a set of stock ones that I got back here that I just took off. We're about to switch them over, and after that's done, I think all we have to do on this is switch out our fuel pump and we'll be good to go. Here we've got some well over 10-year-old Stillens, and up here we are all gravy. We are back to stock. If you were ever doing this, torque spec for the upper bracket 88 to 108, for the lower bracket 59 to 78. Finally wrapping it up, we've got our second control arm, there it is, in place. Now we're just cleaning up a bit before the dark completely falls on us. Have to cut this lower bracket in there. I don't believe I showed it. I was getting a little frustrated, but you can see right there the bolt just tore up, or the nut, and I could not get it. Had to cut it, only option. So let's get this whole thing back together and get closed up for the night. I'm ready to eat, and I'm thinking buffet tonight. So far the car's been idling for a minute. We're about to take off for a little lap just around the block to make sure everything's working fine. Topped up the power steering and all that jazz too, so it should be a little easier driving. Driving good, and I discovered we have radio, so that's a plus. Now we're just going to take it back home. I mean, we've only drove it probably 5 miles, a couple laps around town. So head back, and hopefully we can get some more testing in tomorrow to figure out if that one really weird issue is gone, where it sputters and like you have to feather the gas to accelerate. Maybe it's gone. Maybe it was with the last engine. I thought it had something to do with the heads myself, but needless to say, it's running pretty good. haircut, so you don't gotta look at all the crazy hair anymore. But what we're gonna do here is well, first I should say, this car is not rolling for some reason. I've managed to yank it this far, well hooked up to the tow hook on my car, but it's literally just won't roll. The brakes are seized or something. But so what we're gonna do is we really just need the timing kit. We're gonna pull the radiator, fan, timing covers, front pipes, everything associated with that. We're gonna take the water pump, the timing tensioner, timing belt, and we're going to take all of those for our engine that we have in the barn that we're waiting to build. Well, the stock motor that I'll use here for my slick top, so that way I can just have a pump gas car that I can drive wherever if need be. Tensioner and belt is removed. Now just to the water pump, and we'll go ahead and pull both of these bearings here off just in case. Probably take our coolant bypass hoses as well. Well, we're in some creepy stuff today. It's so dense fog. Like, it's not bad here, but in most places you can't see 20 feet in front of you, let alone a whole tree in front of you. But today we're gonna finish up on our Black Z. We're gonna get the fuel pump changed out. I just got my fuel pump O-ring, so we'll switch that out with an OEM unit. Just because it has a twin turbo pump in it, it doesn't need it. It probably never will, so I'd rather use that towards something it'll actually be used with. But we ended up taking it on like a 20-mile drive yesterday. Drove great, no hiccups, didn't have that weird miss issue that we were having. So that's definitely a plus. Hopefully we can get wrapped up onto that and onto our next engine. Alright, so before we do the fuel pump, actually what I'm going to do is we're going to tear the rest of this motor down. We're going to pull cam gears off, water pump, back plates, so we can change our cam seals. We'll reseal our coolant bypass hoses here. New water pump. I have that. Got a tensioner, belt, pulleys, all the good stuff. So we're gonna do that. We'll pull the pan, go back to NA, so we'll reseal it. I hope I have enough Nissan gasket. That'd be nice. But yeah, we'll just clean it up a bit. Get our studs from our turbo manifold changed or flipped back around, and get this thing all livened up. Obviously we'll have to redo the valve cover gaskets and stuff, but I do have all that stuff here inside my cart, so it's fairly straightforward. Sorry, I'm kind of shivering, it's freezing out here. Got each of the cam seals out and the crank seal. Everything's off. Now we've got to take a razor blade, clean up all this nasty RTV. We'll spray some of this brake cleaner and see about cleaning it off. I guess the other side of the block looks good. Or the rest of it, I should say, other than up front, because we obviously had a cam seal leak. So far, everything in here is looking pretty good. I can't spin it over, obviously, because the timing's hooked up. I mean, I could move the cams a little bit, so I could cycle the bottom in. However, I'm not too worried about it. It was an absolute excess RTV yet. Once again, as you can tell there, for whatever reason, they went side to side instead of just throwing a bead on the oil pan. So there was a ton extra. Well, you really can't make this stuff up, guys. So while I'm in here, I've got all my surfaces cleaned up. Working on getting all the RTV cleaned out of here and here. Just get finished up, and I noticed that we've got a little bit of RTV sticking out the edge of the oil pickup. No bueno, obviously. So take it off, and look what I see. I'm kind of second guessing this whole thing. I really hope it's a good motor and it's gonna prevail for us, but just what I've found so far is not too promising. this pickup O-ring, as you can see, is completely broken. And that's why it was siliconed. I don't understand. Could have just replaced it. I mean, yeah, now it's a $10 O-ring, but I just pray this is going to have good oil pressure, good bearings, and that everything is not completely toast. So we've got fresh Nissan gasket here. Other than that, we've got us new front and rear oil pan seal. Now we're just going to drop the pan on, throw a couple bolts in, tighten it up. And I think you're good to torque it within, I think immediately, but I usually wait like 10 minutes for it to tack up just a little bit. So now we hit the pan with a little bit of rust converter just to darken some of them rusty spots. We also went ahead and sprayed the side of the block. Made it look way better if you ask me, but this is usually what I use. I've got that, but I just ran out, so I'm using this engine enamel next. That'll be more so for the next side, which is going to be a lot easier to do. It's just about ready to do already, so that's good. This is the driver's side now. That looks way better than it did. Since I didn't have a hammer and tape to be able to hit this and trim the tape off to tape it off, just twirl up a rag, make it smaller, then the hole, push it in, and it'll squish out and get that ring. Well, as you can tell, we've cleaned this valve cover up, and we have also got this side all ready for it to go on. So hopefully, if all goes well, we'll be sitting out here tonight grinding this out. It's already 8 o'clock and I've still got a lot of hours of work ahead of me, but it's just meticulous, tedious I should say. Take my time and make sure not to mess things up. I almost put my timing backing plates on, but I forgot that the valve covers kind of go into them, so we'll just go ahead and wait. Well, for whatever reason, it's 60 degrees outside, super windy and rainy. Kind of annoying because, you know, if you've been here on the channel long, you know condensation is an enemy of my barn. It's just not sealed. I mean, you can see outside and all different kinds of areas. So I may be taking a hiatus after this video so we can actually get some shop work done. I've got spray foam that I could use now because it's the right temperature, but I realize it's been 7 days since I posted a video. We need to get this done so we can get it posted. So unfortunately, I went to change my O-ring on the fuel pump and I've got the wrong one. I thought it was the right one just by the way it looked, but it was green instead of blue. I don't know. So we're waiting on that to come in, so we'll actually get to see the Black Z in another video. But for the rest of this, we're just trying to get the rest of this all assembled, everything sealed up, put together, all timed, and pretty much get us a presentable engine so that way we can nearly just drop it in. All we need to get is a set of fuel injectors for NA. Sucks, I just sold some, but whatever. Alright, so we've kind of just been chugging away at this. We've got all of our valve covers sealed up, water pump, bypass hoses, VTCs are resealed. All these cam gears are torqued on, so are the idlers. We haven't set timing yet because I'm not feeling too good about this now. I've kind of, in the back of my head, been worried about this thing the whole time because of what happened to it with it washing out and getting filled up with that much gas, supposedly hydro-locked. Well, let's see if I can find them. Here's the spark plugs, and if you look at about each of them, the end of it is rusted and pitted. So I'm afraid that they've just been sitting there with gas, and the previous owner flooded it. And then this plug is wet with oil. Not really sure why. Like really wet. Unless something could have leaked. Unless something could have leaked when I flipped it upside down, but I'm really not seeing where that could be. And then what I did is I shined a light down in the spark plug hole, or the tube, and seen each piston looks incredibly clean on the top, and I mean like super clean. Then that back one where that dirty plug was at is like has a bunch of chunks in it. Like it looks like what I would assume is a dirty piston that sat there with fuel in it. It loosened it all up and made it clump together. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But the oil is really throwing me off. The oil just stinks. It's got so much ethanol in it. It's just disgusting smelling. And I don't know. I don't feel too much compression cranking this thing over. Took the plugs out. Like even with the plugs, I didn't feel very much. So I'm not feeling too great about this. Maybe good for parts for all I know, but I don't know. I don't even know if we're gonna go through with putting it all together. I gotta collect my thoughts on this, because this is really not something that I anticipated happening. I thought it was good. I mean, I've got enough paperweights out here. I really don't need another one. So that being said, I think that's gonna be it for this video. I don't know what we're gonna do from here. I've got a lot of thinking to do today. Sorry for jumping around everywhere. I've just had so many little things to do here and there. I mean, I've got a lot of bigger things to do, but those are kind of priority right now. If you guys like what you see, don't forget to drop a like, comment, and subscribe down below. And stay tuned for our next video. Peace.